Well, happy holidays, everybody. This is Jay Thomas, host of the HIV Diaries Without a Net, as we approach the end of another year. It's not just the end of another year, it is the end of another decade. My goodness, have we had quite a few things happen in the last 10 years, haven't we? You know, as I was preparing to do this, I was looking back on how long I've been on this planet. And it's just over 37 years. I remember back in the early part of 1990, watching a country music awards show with my father, and I was sitting on the floor, and I was 7 years old, and Dolly Parton walked out, and she took the mic at the podium and said, well, goodbye to the 80s and hello to the 90s. Because there was this festive feeling in the air. The 80s were such a boom period, and it was so much fun. And yeah, there was a lot of tragedy, but there was also a lot of optimism. People were excited. Fast forward 10 years to the end of the 90s into 2000. We had some of the greatest strides in regards to economics, foreign relations, and everything else related to that. People were excited. We get to the end of that decade, 2010. We had elected the first black president. Let's face it, we had pretty much won the war on terror, but not really. But that's a discussion for another day. But we elected the first black president in 2008. It was historic. So we fast forward 10 years. What all have we done for this decade that we are about to wrap up? Now, during this time as well, we've also lost a number of people. So I'd like to begin with just a few notable names, especially in regards to politics. People like Hugo Chavez, Muammar Gaddafi, Kim Jong-il. All these individuals died in office, as did former leaders Fidel Castro, Nelson Mandela, Margaret Thatcher, Robert Mugabe, and former President George H.W. Bush. But in regards to historical events, political and non, although they are all politically related, in no particular order, Osama bin Laden, the founder and leader of the militant Al-Qaeda, was killed. Front page news. I remember when Obama came out and gave that speech to the country that he had been killed. What a night that was, huh? The Colombian Peace Agreement, a peace deal between Colombia and the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia to end the Colombian conflict. North Korea continued to be North Korea. Sorry, but they did. But a couple really huge historic events happened in this country. We legalized gay marriage. That's historic. And for the most part, we legalized marijuana, finally. Now, I would mention the incredible breakthroughs in medical science and the technological advances we have made in the last 10 years as well, but let's face it, there are far too many to name. So let's go with what we still don't have cures for. Right out of the box, HIV. We've had some really incredible breakthroughs in regards to treatment and prevention, no doubt, but still no cure. Cancer? The same. But as we embark on another decade and the beginning of 2020, let's not forget, if we as a people do not learn from the mistakes of the past, then we as a people are bound to repeat them. So let's all try to be a little more caring, a little more compassionate, and a little more open and accepting of our differences. Because at the end of the day, that is truly what makes all of us one, whole, and of course, unique. Happy holidays to you and yours, and Happy New Year. This is Jay Thomas, Without a Net.